Welcome to the Los Olivos Wine Merchant and Cafe, where you not only get to taste California's Central Coast wines, but you also get to meet the winemakers. Today I have the honor of interviewing Michael Larner of Larner Vineyard and Winery. And Michael is our featured winemaker for the month of February. How did you find this little...
Yeah, so that's where I blame my parents. Yeah, so I was a geologist working in Colorado, and my mother and father had always had the dream of getting in the wine business. And my father met my mother, and they looked at land in the 70s at Napa, and try to make something work, and fiscally it just didn't pan out. So my father pursued his cinematography career. He was a director of photography, and so they moved to Hollywood, and they pursued, had a great career. And it wasn't until about the mid-90s that they said, okay, I kind of want to get back out of Los Angeles, the concrete jungle, as we call it. And that beckoning call came back, which was maybe we can look at doing a vineyard. And the reason is because my father, being a cinematographer, he went to school to study filmmaking in Paris, and the first job he got was actually making a documentary for the French government on vineyards.
That's great. So just planted that seed.
Yeah,
in his head.
He was smitten. Yeah, and so he got the chance of filming these vineyards, seeing estates, and so the whole idea is like, wow, this is a lifestyle. This is something that I would love to be involved with. Where do I fit into that? So it wasn't until the late '90s that he's like, I think it's time for us to get out of Los Angeles. And at that time, San Ynez Valley was the backyard for LA, so they came up here on the weekends. And they started
Still is.
and they it's much more connected now. And they started saying to themselves, maybe we can find something here. So in '94 they started looking at land, and they didn't find the ranch that we ended up purchasing until '97. It was a beautiful 130 acre parcel, south facing, really good soils, perfectly situated in what's now the Ballard Canyon AVA. And so in '97 we bought that, and that's where sort of my mother and father started the whole Larner legacy, the concept, and we were
Did
sort
they
of
know
involved.
that you were going to be making wines? Was that part of the?
I think
process?
I think the signs of good parenting is they do things without you noticing it. So
I'll take notes.
Yeah, so
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
too.
my father and mother really kind of were always there for us, and if they needed to steer us. My mother, my sister and myself. And so they let us pursue what we wanted to do, but always try to make sure we're still on the track. And so, I deviated from what my father did. I was not a cinematographer. My mother was a business owner, and I was a geologist. It's like very different. But I ended up working in the private sector of geology, being a geotech engineer, was involved with construction. I helped build some of the runways at McCarran Airport. I mean, these things that take you these random places. But when they called me and they're like, we're kind of thinking of doing this, and we need somebody, we need muscle. We need, some.
Muscle.
Well, yeah, we need, a little bit now.
Check.
Yeah, but we also need the legacy aspect, and for us that was probably my biggest selling point, was the idea that, wait a minute, we could actually do this for multiple generations. Was fascinating to me because I love the idea.
You and your wife have young children now too.
Yeah,
right?
we have our third generation of
So
Larners.
your parents they were thinking of the grandchildren.
Yeah, exactly.
They were thinking,
Selfishly.
okay, we need to get.
We need to
here
do
with
something
us,
to get them
and
home.
then they'll start having kids.
Yeah.
And then they'll see the beauty of it. And
Exactly.
Then,
and that
Smart.
and that was kind of the idea. And it's funny because I had actually when we were kids, and one of the reasons why we planted the Great Malvasia is when we were kids living in Rome. One of my father's film took us on location to live in Italy, and on the weekends we would used to do agritourism things. We would go out and see how Parmesan Reggiano was made. We'd go out and see prosciutto made, but we'd also go out to vineyards. And I remember distinctly that we went to this one vineyard in Frascati, which is also Malvasia Bianca, and we harvested. We helped the family harvest. It's just a random family that they had met. We went there, we harvested, and then we had this huge meal after. And I distinctly remember because I got so sick because I ate so many grapes picking them. 'Cause it was like one for the winery, one for me. But that was Malvasia, and when we sat down and had this great dinner, and I was like maybe 7 years old, so it's not like I was drinking wine, but the idea of family being together, doing agricultural things was basically instilled in me. And I maybe that's one of the reasons why I felt like going back to the earth, whether it's through studying geology or something. I always wanted to come back to being grounded, to be
concrete,
firmly planted somewhere in the earth. And so you can do that through vineyards, you can do that through family legacy, and you can do it through your business. And that's why we try to do, with our estate, is try to get everything to that point. And
so when you say grounded, it's not just the earth; it's also the family and
it's a sense of creating something that is always there,
right?
And it's like you can put footings into it,
right.
whether it's the vines or whether it's your home or your family. I'm very lucky and very grounded to my ability to make the wine that I make, because I did go back to school. I got a master's at UC Davis in viticulture and enology. That's not very common in this valley. I have a family estate that's a great vineyard first, and Larner Vineyard started in 1999, and we didn't start making our own wine until 2009. So for the first 10 years, we were selling fruit off, and we were getting great accolades from the press, from other people making wine from our vineyard. So it was a natural progression for us to slowly build and say, okay, now it's time for Larner brand to exist.
Right.
And that's why we still call ourselves a vineyard and winery, because I still sell almost 80% of our fruit to other wineries and great wineries. And you have some of them here, Jaffers. And so our idea is that we will slowly make more, but let the market pull us there. Let it happen organically.
You're really fortunate to have that.
Exactly. So we're also fortunate because, again, we're grounded.
Cushion.
We're grounded with the wines being from that vineyard, so we can also make sure that our quality is always there. I'm not buying fruit from another vineyard. It's all coming from me. And so it makes sure that I can year after year make the best wines possible and be the best spokesperson for my land. So it's really a family affair, and I think I feel comfortable in that. I was fortunate enough to work for Antinori in Italy, in Tuscany, and I remember distinctly sitting with Piero Antinori, Marchese Antinori, talking to him, and I kind of looked behind him for a second, and he's got this beautiful family tree, making wine since the 1600s, 27 generations, all these different branches, and I was like, this is what it's about. And the idea that you could actually do this grounded to the soil, to the vineyard, is actually a phenomenal thing for me, and that's what we're trying to do. That's what Larner's all about, is build legacy generations, And
it's interesting. It's like one of those professions, like who wouldn't want to do it?
Yeah.
If you're handed, this business,
and that's
why
the thing.
wouldn't you?
Everybody's going to put their own mark on it, and my father and mother were the brainchild of the project. They created this concept. I sort of see my role as the builder, building the wine programs, hopefully building the infrastructure with the winery. We have a great vineyard. We can expand that. My son or daughter, they can be empowered with growing, maybe taking it out of California, maybe making more wine, bringing it internationally, these kind of things. So it's kind of cool that look, if you, but I'm not going to ever say like you got to do this, right? I'm like, go be a judge.
You'll have to learn from your parents.
Yeah.
So,
somehow be like, don't worry, there's always a.
How's that working for you?
Yeah, I know. There's always a place to go back to. But and that's kind of the I think what's beautiful about this business is you have that ability to do that, but also it's a little bit daunting about the business is my name is on there, and at the end of the day, it's like it's about Larner, and that's sort of always the overriding message is a family business. What is going to be the bar that we set?
Well, thank you. It was great hearing the whole background story behind this, behind Larner Wines.
Thank you.
So, cheers, and we look forward to pouring your wines during the month of February. Again, on February 24th, you can come meet Michael Larner in person.